As I lead into this story, I'm going to tell you this joke. It is the old man and the flood. There was an old man of great faith who lived in a town that was about to be hit by a terrible flood. The town was being evacuated as water was already covering the roads. The old man sat on his porch calmly and unafraid. A car pulled up in front of his house, the water almost too deep to drive in. The people in the car called out to the old man, "Get in, we'll take you to safety." The old man shook his head. "Go on, I have faith in God, he'll save me." So the car drove on. A short time later, the water had risen so high that it had covered the porch, and the old man was upstairs in his house. A boat came up to the house, and the people called out to him, "Get in the boat, we'll take you to safety." Again the old man said from the upstairs window, "Go on, I have faith in God, he'll save me." So the boat went on. Hours later, the water had risen so that it almost covered the entire house. The old man was now on his roof when a rescue helicopter came by. They called, "Get on the helicopter, we'll take you to safety, this is your last chance." But the old man refused, saying, "Go on, I have faith in God, he'll save me." So the helicopter left. Well, the water rose so high that the old man drowned. He went to heaven, of course. When he got there, he went straight up to God and asked, "Lord, I had faith in you to save me. Why didn't you?" "I tried," said God. 3 times I tried to save you. I sent you a car, a boat, and even a helicopter." Lubbock, Texas, unveiling a statue of a man who wouldn't take freedom on the cheap. So you're gonna understand why I read you the joke at the beginning of this. Just to premise this feel-good story, right? Even while imprisoned for a rape he didn't commit, Tim Cole never stopped acting like a big brother. Quote, he would send us letters telling us what classes to take, telling us to look out for a subscription to Money magazine he was sending. Brother Cory Sessions remembers. He told his younger brothers and sisters to get a subscription to Money magazine. How ironic with what I'm going to say at the end of the story. Cole was a student in Texas Tech when he was convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison for the 1985 rape of a 20-year-old Michele Mallin. In 2009, DNA would exonerate Cole, but not until a decade after he died in prison at age 39 from heart complication related to his asthma. To those who loved him, Texas can never right the false conviction, but the Lubbock City Council wants to make sure Cole and his case are not forgotten. The city unveiled a statue of the Fort Worth native across the street from the Texas Tech campus on Wednesday afternoon and dedicated the area where the bronze likeness will stand as the Tim Cole Memorial Park. Behind bars, Cole refused to lose faith, telling his sister Karen Kennard, the only African-American enrolled at Texas Tech's law school at the time, not to give up pursuing her law degree. "I still believe in the justice system even if the justice system doesn't believe in me," he once wrote in a letter. Kennard finished her degree and went on to become the city attorney for Austin, Texas. His brother attitude extended beyond his kin as well. His family wouldn't learn about it until later, but Cole used the money he earned from his GI Bill to make thousands of dollars in charitable donations from behind bars. Quote, he knew he couldn't help himself, but he could help other people, Session said. Cole always maintained his innocence even after he was offered parole in exchange for admitting to the rape. He never confessed, and in 2007, Texas inmate Jerry Johnson, who didn't realize Cole had died 8 years before, wrote to Cole confessing the rape and offering to submit to DNA testing to clear Cole's name. Quote, Tim had the integrity to say, "I won't confess to something I didn't do," former Lubbock City Council Todd Klein said. He refused to take his freedom on the cheap. The legacy is just one of the reasons Cole will be memorialized at one of Lubbock's busiest intersections. Klein was instrumental in seeing that the sculpture was erected. He felt it was important, he said, to remind us of this teachable moment in the city's history. The government had enormous power to take one's life or liberty, Klein said. When we make a mistake, we should admit to it. We should make amends where we can. Really, I just want to stop right there. Now, the story of the piece is a feel-good story. It's supposed to be a feel-good story. But I want to tell you, I want to remind you of the joke that I led into the story with. Life is short. So this guy felt that his freedom was less important than his reputation. He was going to be fully pardoned by the government, and he said no instead, that he could not admit to the crime even with a full pardon. A full pardon then you're not a convict then with a full pardon, I believe. I might be wrong on that. I'm not up on my partnership. But I want to harken back to Clinton when he left office. Like the day that he was leaving office, he signed 1,000 pardons for friends, families, cousins of cousins, friends of cousins, cousins of friends, and friends of cousins, and all that sort of stuff, right? 1,000 people, boom, right, like that. They went on, of course, to probably lead very successful lives. Now, I say it's ironic that he told his brothers and sisters to subscribe to Money Magazine. My thought is that he could have taken the pardon, and even if he had the stigma of being a felon or whatever, and he couldn't find a job, he could have opened his own business. It doesn't matter what your reputation is if you open up your own business. If you're the one calling the shots, nobody can say no. The worst that they can do is say, well, I don't like your reputation. I'm not going to work with you. Okay, well, you know, most businesses don't actually ask what your reputation is. And if you're brand new, they really don't ask your reputation because they assume that you have no reputation, because frankly, you don't. In business, you don't. Brand new business has no reputation. Donald Trump has gone bankrupt 5 times, has declared bankruptcy. Business, you know. There are some people who have said that he has strategically declared bankruptcy, and by strategically, he's saying that so he has taken on millions of dollars of debt in his company and then turned around and declared bankruptcy so that they could not collect, or they couldn't collect anywhere near what they should be collecting on those debts, right? And there are people who say that he's a dirty, rotten scoundrel and blah, blah, blah. He should be in jail. But you know what? He's not in jail. And when he was declared bankruptcy at the Trump Plaza, he turned right around and was given millions of dollars in loans to refinance and start everything over. And he's done that several times. Now, if these people can do that, there is no reason that guy shouldn't have taken his freedom, said to them, to hell what they think about me. I know I'm innocent. And I guess the guy would have confessed anyway. This is obviously before DNA, and I've told you before that they applied DNA to many cases, and 25% of the prisoners went free because the forensic evidence showed that they weren't even a part of the crime that they had been convicted and sentenced to. There are people who were in jail 30 years, completely innocent. Now, I think it's great that the city council wants to admit that they were wrong and that they put an innocent man in jail, but this man lost his life probably because he was in jail, and jail doesn't really have the greatest of healthcare. Had he been free, he could have probably had fantastic healthcare and not died of complications from asthma. Complications from asthma? I've actually never heard of anybody dying from complications from asthma. I think that had he been outside and free and making money, he could have had tremendous health care and been alive today to talk about it. And I think it's ironic that he's suggesting that his brothers and sisters subscribe to Money Magazine. If he's that conscious about it, he should have been able to get out, start his own business, and call his own shots. It's always call your own shots And most of this stuff doesn't matter. Life is too short for you to have pride where pride is getting in the way of your life. People do things pridefully. I need a man. I've gotten with a thug. I've gotten with a no job, homeless guy as a woman, but he pays attention to me 10% of the time, so I'm going to stay with him. And it doesn't matter what other people say, I'm going to stay with him just because I can say I need a man. No. You need to take the bull by the horns and realize and admit that you have made a mistake, that you have done something wrong in your life. Admit it, move past the problem, realize that there's a problem, move past the problem, and go on with your life and call the shots in whatever way that is. That's I say start your own business. And really, it is not that hard. You want to go into fashion? You can buy clothes. I'm not saying you have to be a fashion designer. You can start off really small, buy clothes, take these clothes, put them in somebody else's shop who already has a shop, sell them on consignment in that person's shop. Boom, you have a business. You're making money. You have product that's selling. You can use other people's property to launch your business. And there's a lot of people who started like that. If you have a food product, you can approach grocery stores and say, hey, can you sell this in your grocery store? You don't have to have your own. Everybody thinks that you have to start up with a 3,000 square foot home as a first time buyer. No, you don't do that. You start up with a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, tiny little hovel. And then when you get enough money, you rent that house out to somebody else who is struggling or just starting out. That's how you do it. You don't start out with a Cadillac. You admit what you have, but call your own shots. This guy could have gotten free, called his own shots. And this seems to smack to me of good little Negro syndrome. He was so willing to sacrifice his life for his reputation. What reputation does he have? Do you know him? Do you know Tim Cole? Before I've mentioned him, do you know Tim Cole? Even now that I mention him, Tim Cole, do you know Tim Cole, who was convicted and sentenced over a rape that he did not commit? Do you know him? No, you don't. So this guy was willing to sacrifice his reputation, his life for his reputation. He doesn't have a reputation. He could have started whatever business. Obviously he was conscious about business. He could have started his own business. He could have gotten his freedom, started his own business, and his life would have been just fine. He would have been just fine. If he's such a fantastic guy, right? He's helping people in jail. He's donating to all of these charities. He's such a fantastic guy. He could have done even more outside. And he could have really been the good Negro. The good Negro in my eyes. The good Negro in my eyes would have gotten his freedom first, started his own business, and then he could have continued to donate to charity and all this other stuff. He could have been Man of the Year of Lubbock, Texas. Free. And then outside, he could have then continued to try and get his reputation. He never did get his reputation. Once you die, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Posthumously. I'm going to read you a story about a guy who was given a Medal of Honor 150 years after he died. What is that about? I want you to go away with the notion that your life comes first. Your reputation is worth 2 cents, especially in 2014. Nobody has a reputation. When you have people who film themselves having sex, secretly put the film out themselves, then claim that somebody else put it out against their wishes, and then become more famous than the President of the United States, there is no such thing as a reputation anymore. I'm here to tell you. And that hasn't just happened once, that's happened probably close to 50 times now. There are people who have become famous because of their sex tapes. There are people who now are trying to get film work, and they put out a sex tape to get people talking about them again, and then the studio calls them to make millions of dollars. Reputation means nothing in 2014. Your life comes first. I'm sorry to go against this story, and I appreciate the gesture from the city council. They put a bronze statue, a full life bronze statue of the man across the street from the university where he was accused at. But they can't give this man's life back. They can't do that. And his life, to me, is more important than anything else. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.